Hello friends, Happy New Year. I'm Angelica. If you're new to my channel, I thought I would do a face-to-face with you for my first video of 2024. I have been missing in action for over a month, so I wanted to tell you why. So we're going to talk about that in a couple minutes. First, for those who just want to go right into the project, I will leave a timestamp down below so you can just fast forward to that, because I'm going to spend probably about 10 minutes talking about my month of December. But to show you what we are going to be doing in the tutorial is this cute treat box, shaker box that I have done in a Valentine's Day theme. So I'm going to show you the paper I used, the dies. I made a tag using products from the Greetery. But this shaker die is from a company that is new to me. So I came across a video last month of a design member from this company's design team who was making that box. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, she didn't do a tutorial on how to make the box. She just showed what she did with like the whole release. And I think this release came out last December of 2022. But the company is Scrap Diva Designs. The store is scrapdivadesigns.com. It's a fabulous shop, especially if you like to do 3D projects, treat boxes, lots of dies in her shop. And oh my goodness, it was really hard for me to like keep my shopping cart not filled with the whole store. I wanted everything. But the products that I did buy, we're just going to be playing with them today. So we're going to make the shaker box. And then we're also going to be making chapstick holders. How adorable are these? I love the little heart on the top. Super easy and quick to put together. I didn't do any embellishing on the chapstick boxes. So those are the products that we're going to be, or the projects that we're going to be doing. I'm also going to be trying out new glue. So if you are familiar with my channel, you know I love my art glitter glue, but my girlfriend Miriam sent me this for Christmas, and I was super excited because I've been seeing people use this glue for a year, 2 years now, but I'm so in love with my art glitter glue. I really wasn't interested in trying this out, and it's kind of expensive too. I remember looking at the price like, ugh. And I have a lot of the glue that I use already, in my stash. So never bought it. So my girlfriend was very sweet and sent me a bottle. So I'm going to do an unboxing on screen too, just in case you are interested in that glue or, want to know what it looks like when you get it. So we're going to be doing that. So that part of the video, again, timestamp will be down in the description. Now let's talk about the month of December. Before I do say that, though, I do want to say thank you to the people who reached out to me personally. I had messages on Instagram. I had emails come to me through my blog. And I even got a handwritten note from my friend Anne, which was so sweet. So my last video that I uploaded, I think back in November, I had said that I was sick, and I was, I got really sick. I had never been concerned for myself ever before until November. And it took me a couple weeks to get over me being sick. And then right after that, on Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving, my father-in-law fell. And he broke his hip, and that just was a situation my husband and I had never been in before. Now, my mother-in-law had fell 3 years ago, and she fell on the back of her head and suffered a severe brain injury. She had brain surgery. She was in ICU for a month. It was serious. It was serious. It was scary. It was during COVID, so we weren't allowed to go into the hospital to see her. I don't want to wish that on anybody. Now, my dad takes care of her. For the most part, she can take care of herself, but she's not allowed to turn on the stove. She can't go outside by herself. She cannot drive. So on that part of the spectrum, she does need a caretaker. Now with Dad out of the picture, like literally out of the house, because he spent the whole weekend in the hospital recovering from the surgery. You know, my husband spent pretty much his whole time with his dad. The whole Thanksgiving weekend he was with his dad. I was with Vera, my 6-year-old, who had no idea what was going on. So we just like decorated the house with Christmas and decorated the tree and try to keep life going as normal for Vera, even though Daddy was gone, without telling her really what had happened to Papa yet, because we didn't know how severe it was, what the recovery was going to be like. So we just kept Vera away from it until we had all of our questions answered. We did get a lot of care lined up for Mom. Neighbors checked in on her. People from her church checked on her. Brendan went over as much as possible. I cooked food. I cooked so much food in December for my household and for their household. Once Dad got home from the hospital, he was in the hospital for, I think, 4 days. My routine turned into getting Vera ready for school, getting her off to school, going straight over to my in-laws, making them breakfast, coffee, getting them taken care of for the day, you know, medicines out, cleaning up, coming home, taking care of my dogs, and pretty much just jumping right into getting dinner cooked for my household and for their household, so I can have that all boxed up and ready to go for when my husband would come home after working his shift, and then, you know, sitting in traffic and trying to get home just for him to come in, grab the food, and head on down to Mom and Dad's for a couple hours. My father did drive up from California, and he was a huge help. He was able to get my father-in-law to his morning doctor's appointments. He was just good support for us too. He kept our household laughing because we were kind of stressing out. We weren't set up for a situation like that. We didn't know anything about their insurance. We didn't know anything about what doctors they go to. Like, none of that information was like in a box for us to open up and quickly go through. We had to rely on the doctors giving us information. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into it. It's just, it was really trying. I know that there are many of you out there who have been in the situation we just went through, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And if you have been through that, believe me, I have a lot of respect for people who have to stop everything for their family, and you have to do it because it's your family. So I did start to get angry and resentful because my personal life was, it just got really, I just had to do stuff that I didn't want to do. I wanted to do my own stuff. And for me to stay sane and for me to be pleasant to be around, I just had to completely disconnect myself from my craft room, from my friends, pretty much my friends. Like if I, you know, go hang out with them, go out for lunch, stuff at my daughter's school, all of that, everything came to a stop. And it was just about supporting my husband, supporting his family, his parents' household, and taking care of the guests that we had in our house. And then, you know, just normal everyday life responsibilities. Let's just say it was a rough month. But yes, that's why I just stopped. I stopped uploading videos. I wasn't able to answer comments or questions. I would not even check my social media accounts for days or a week or two, just because I had to keep that part of my world separated. We went into the Christmas vacation season, so my daughter was off of school for 2.5 weeks. My son and his girlfriend flew in from Florida for Christmas. In fact, I just took my daughter back to school this morning and my son to the airport. I just got back from taking him to the airport. So today is the first day that my house is quiet during the day, and I am really cherishing it. But I thought this would be a perfect time for me to turn on my camera. I'm actually using my phone. So turn on my phone. My dogs are quietly laying on the couch. And I just wanted to say hello. And I wanted to say thank you for those who were thinking of me and who reached out. I had a sweet lady from Australia email me from my blog, and she was really sweet. And she was actually the first person that I opened up to and talked about this with, because I did not tell anybody besides my like inner circle. This I just kept quiet about it and was trying to figure out how to deal with it in my head before trying to share it with anybody else, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't out there trying to get sympathy for myself, I guess. I don't know. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself during this whole situation, and the number one thing being I don't like my schedule being messed up. And you know, I had to just come to the understanding that life happens. It was an accident, and you have to do what you have to do first with your family. Family is first always. So with that said, my father-in-law is healing. He does have a walker, but he is able to stand at his stove now and cook. So the cooking has slowly come, well, actually sending the meals over has slowed down quite a lot. And this past week, we were actually able to really focus on our family, and we got to go do some out. I live in the Seattle area, so we spent a day in Seattle, and we just had, this past week has been so much fun. We just really let ourselves relax from the chaos that we did the 4 weeks leading up to last week. So I'm just ready to get back to work. I am ready to get back into crafting, and I think I am still going to keep doing Christmas throughout the year. I'm trying to figure out if I want to keep Christmas crafting on this channel, if I want to start a second channel that is just dedicated to Christmas. So I don't know, what do you think? If you can leave me a comment, especially if you're somebody who watches my videos a lot, should I split those two themes up? Because I could craft Christmas every single day for the whole year, but I also want to keep giving like regular ideas throughout the year too. So just trying to figure out if I want to do 2 channels or not. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead. I'm going to jump right into the tutorial. I did make the boxes yesterday. So, or the box and the chapstick, I made those yesterday. That's how I brought in the new year. I crafted, and I haven't even taken Christmas down yet. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to say goodbye to Christmas, because we didn't really get to fully enjoy our Christmas. It's just our, I shouldn't say that. It's just our Christmas season was different than it normally is. But anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and just jump right into the tutorial. I'm going to show you one last time the envelope that has all the information on how you can find this company online, and then also the postcard. And I will have links to all of the products, or I will link as much as I can down in the description. So this first die we're going to take a quick look at is the lipstick gift box. The large die and a frame die is what I'm going to be using in this video. And then this next die is the shaker box, gift box die. I think that this die set is so clever. It's huge. There is a lot of dies in this set. So the back of my packaging, I put the word dies. There's bows, a scalloped edge to put on the top of the box when you close it. These are 2 completed boxes I made for Christmas. I think I made about
10, 15 boxes last month. I would sneak down early in the morning, or, you know, I was only doing like one at a time when I could find time. My dog did grab a couple of them, which was such a bummer because they do take about a half an hour or so to make. But there is so much room in these boxes. So I'm going to dump the candy out of this one. And I had put shaker windows on both sides. You don't have to do that. I just love the shaker look. So yeah, I just added 2 shaker windows. And the paper that I am going to be using for today's box is from Carta's My Valentine paper kit. This is the 12 by 12 paper kit. So I picked these 2 papers for the box, and then I'm also going to use a couple stickers from the 12 by 12 sticker sheet that comes in the package. I have a couple different double-sided adhesives that I have pulled out, and then this is the Barely Art glue. It comes in a tube. My art glitter glue, this is what the art glitter glue bottle looks like, and I keep that in a small bottle at all times in my on my desk. So when that bottle gets empty, obviously I fill it. I also do have the scrapbook.com Artiste glue. I just use that one though on my bigger projects because the glue doesn't dry as fast as the art glitter glue. Now, I hadn't used the Barely Art glue yet, so I didn't know how fast this glue dried. So I really was excited to try this out because people talk so highly about it. So my expectations were pretty high. To do the unboxing, it does come with a tube with 3 different tips in the tube, and then a little instruction sheet which shows what each tip does. I picked the needle size tip to put on my bottle, and then there is a stainless steel pin that you put in the tip when you're not using it. Now we're going to jump into the project, and I'm going to start first by cutting down my pattern paper. So I picked Love Letter Stamps paper. This is the Love Letter Stamps paper that I'm trimming right now, and what I'm doing is I cut it to 8 by 12, and now I'm cutting the 12-inch side down to almost 6 inches for each piece. Because this paper is so pretty, I wanted to trim the paper down as much as I could with my trimmer first before die cutting, so I can use those strips that I don't use on a different project. So these 2 pieces are the 2 by 2 journaling cards paper, and I'm giving you the names of these papers just in case you want to buy these papers singly. There are sites that will sell you 12 by 12 sheets singly. I know scrapbook.com, which is where I go and buy all of my 12 by 12 designer papers from. They do have a beautiful open stock paper selection, so you can buy these sheets singly if you do not want to dedicate yourself to a full paper pack. Okay, so I'm going to do just a little bit of die cutting on screen. I die cut one of the box die cuts. Now you're going to need 2 of each of these for your gift box. So I thought that green looked so pretty next to the pink. So you see I have 2 of each pieces here on screen, and now I am going to die cut red cardstock to make frames and the top. Now the frame I just showed you is actually 2 dies that I did not snip apart. So I was able to make this cute little scalloped frame. I don't think I'll ever use the inside square that is connected to the scallop. So that's why I just kept them together so I can always die cut this really cute frame. So I used that Barely Art glue to attach it to my to the box, and now I'm just going to add some double-sided adhesive to the tabs. There are 2 tabs on each piece, and that's how you will assemble the box, put it together. Now on the windows, when I was putting this box together, I just immediately shut the windows on the back side with acetate, and I did not need to do that. So that's why it's not in the video, because I ended up having to take the acetate off of the window because I'm putting acetate on the shaker boxes. So even though you see a reflection when I am lifting up the gift box, because the acetate is there, I did pull that off. So we're just going to act like there is no acetate on the back of this box. I also am going to take this off screen a couple times because I need to make sure my score lines are lined up perfectly. One thing about the die is not only does it die cut the box pieces, but it also adds all the score lines that you need to have on your paper so you can fold the box up properly. I'm going to fold on all the scored lines, and then I am going to move on to the shadow boxes. This paper that I'm using, it is a nice weight. It's not super heavy. I want to say it's probably around 65 pound. So it does have some weight to it. It can, it forms a very nice box, and it has a little bit of sturdiness to it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. I was like word searching really quickly in my brain. Okay, so for the shadow boxes, there are several score lines on these die cuts also, and there's tabs. So I'm going to add adhesive to the tabs. Now, like I said before, I have two different size adhesives here. I'm using a 1/4 inch on the tabs and then 1/8 inch when I add the adhesive. But really, you could do this with just 1/8 inch double-sided adhesive. I personally would not put it together with glue. I am not a big fan of putting projects like this together with something that's wet. I just feel it looks better and it stands up better to time with double-sided adhesive. That's just my opinion, and that is why I'm using the double-sided adhesive for this project. So the little tabs that are sticking out on these die cuts, they actually go on the outside of the little shadow boxes, and that's what's going to hold the boxes together to make that shape. And I want to decorate the inside of the box with a sticker, but because it's going to be a shaker box, I do need to try and cover up as much of the adhesive that's on the sticker as I can, so the shaker elements don't stick to the paper. So I just quickly outlined it on thin paper, cut that out, attached it to the sticker, and then added some foam adhesive squares to the back of it, and then used a little bit of glue on each square. So when I put that sticker in the window, I can move it a little bit because the foam adhesive was a little wet from the glue. Now for the shaker elements, I did use some clay hearts from Sunny Studio Stamps, and then I also pulled out this baggie of jewels, and I have no idea where these jewels came from. It's obviously a mix. I don't know if a company had sent this to me, but it is clear, light pink, and red jewels, so you can easily make your own mix if you have those in your stash. But I just added a little bit of the jewels to each box too, just to give it a little extra shine. Once I have as much elements as I want in these boxes, and I'm giggling a little bit because these little shadow boxes, they're pretty deep. So you could easily add in a lot of elements before even realizing that you did it. So just keep that in mind. These are pretty deep windows. So once I had the elements in, I exposed the adhesive, and then I just attached my sheet of acetate on top of the adhesive, just lining up two of the corners. I find that that's easiest for me to add acetate to my projects, is doing that instead of cutting the acetate beforehand. And once the acetate was on, I added some more double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to expose that and then put the box on top of the window to attach the pieces together. Now, I found that doing it this way was way easier than trying to do it on the back side. So once the adhesive is exposed, I mean, this is exactly what I did. I just pretty much lined the bottom right corner up with the box and the shadow box, and then attach them, just push them down into the adhesive and then turned it around and really pushed that adhesive into the paper to make sure it was fully bonded. So I'm going to do the second shaker window, and then we're going to put the box together. And the box is super easy to put together. You just have to line those tabs up, But I am going to take the box off screen real quick before I fully commit myself to the closure, just to make sure I have those score lines met up. Now, I did stop real quick before I closed the box up because I realized I forgot to put adhesive on the bottom of the box. So I just turned the box inside out, added the one strip of adhesive on the longer pieces. And now I'm going to close the box by lining up the tabs and the score lines. And again, like I said, I'm going to really bring this close to my face so I know that I am attaching this correctly. And I do know I'm doing this off screen. I'm sorry. It was either this or have the back of my head fully under the camera. So now the box is looking good. Everything is in the correct position. I'm going to use a scoring tool just to go inside and really make sure those tabs are bonded really nicely to the paper, because it was really hard to work around the shadow box. But once it was done, all I had to do to finish the box is close the bottom. So I am holding the box in place to make sure that it is like all the sides are straight and it's a perfect square before closing, letting the adhesive grab the paper and permanently closing it. So far I am in love with this box. It's so cute. I just kept like, oh, out loud to myself when I was making this. So all we have to do now is fill it and close it. So I'm going to first pick out which ribbon I want to use. So I had pink pulled out and a black and white striped ribbon pulled out. So before I started threading the ribbon through the holes on the box, I added that red scalloped top first. And then the holes on the scalloped top matches the holes on the box. And I completely forgot to mention that I'm talking about these holes is when you're die cutting your paper for the box, the part of the die that does have the two little holes at the edge, that is the top of the die. So when you're die cutting your paper, learn from my mistake. When you're die cutting your paper, you want to make sure that's at the top of your paper, especially if you're die cutting paper that has a one direction design to it. So I already lost a 12 by 12 paper because I die cut it the wrong way. And I was pretty bummed out when I figured that out. So the two circles go on the top of your one direction paper. Now getting back to this, this is the black and white ribbon. I think at the end of this box, I ended up with the pink ribbon, but I do like the way that this black and white looks. And the reason why I picked this one is there are black elements throughout this paper. So I thought this would be a good little accent for it. Now for the tag, I am going to be using the Greetery products for my sentiment and for the tag. So these words are from the Hot Stuff Sentiments stamp set. And then I used the coordinating die set to die cut the words. And I stamped all of these out last year. When I get a release, I stamp everything out, or I'll die cut the majority of the products and put them together just so I can see what they look like. And what I don't use on my projects, I just put them in little bags, and I have a couple drawers by my desk where I throw all my extra die cuts in. So I had a bag full of these sentiments, so I pulled those out, added some foam adhesive to the back of the word, and then I attached them to a die cut. I die cut this little crimped circle using the small crimped circle die from the Greetery's tag set. And since I already had that bow tied, I just used a foam square to attach the tag to the box. Now we're going to move on to the lipstick gift box, and I am going to be using flower bouquets, double-sided paper for this. I'm going to use the heart side of this paper, and you'll see the flower bouquets when I flip this die cut over. But the die will die cut a little window, so your little whatever you're going to put inside your tube can be seen through the window. So I need to close that first. So I'm going to put some 1/8 inch double-sided adhesive around the window, and then I'll close that with acetate. The dies that are included in the set that are in the back of the packaging, there are dies where you can die cut more windows on each side if you want, or on the opposite side. There's lots of options that this die set gives you. There's frames. If you want to make each side a different pattern paper, there's a die that die cuts the rectangles for you. So lots of options. I am going to use one of the dies to die cut a small frame to put on the window. And when I mean a small frame, this frame is super thin. So pink and red is my favorite color combination. I decided on a pink frame for the window. So I'm going to quickly run that through my die cut machine. I'm going to add a little bit of glue, the littlest amount that I can. And I actually tapped the glue off also onto a craft sheet before I attached it to the gift box, just so there was no glue that came out, because I'd already put the acetate on the paper, and acetate and glue do not look good together at all. In fact, I would recommend adding the frame first before closing the window, but for some reason with this and the box, the windows just needed to be closed immediately. And like I said, I put the acetate on the box windows way too quickly. Now I am going to fold on all of the dotted lines, just so I have a nice sharp edge on all sides of this gift box. And it's super easy to do. Now, because the lines are dotted, they're almost like die cut lines. This paper does have a white core, so I'm not going to use my bone folder to reinforce those lines, just because I do not want to emphasize the white core at all. So I just used my fingers, and it worked just fine doing it that way. I love how quickly this box comes together. You can have them done in minutes, which is why I was able to, in like one sitting in 1 hour, I think I made 6 of them. I did use some double-sided adhesive to close the bottoms, which is what I'm doing now. I forgot to add the adhesive before I closed the box, but I mean, you can see how easy this comes together. And I just love that this is not a specific themed box, you know, so I'm going to be able to use it for Valentine's, for birthdays, for Christmas, Halloween. You know, my daughter's 6, so we have tons of birthday parties to go to, because all our little girlfriends, you know, have their parties, and all of them are into glittery chapsticks and, you know, all those little girly things. So I definitely had her little friends in mind when I saw this box, and I had to buy it. This is going to be great. Also, come Christmas for stocking stuffers. I'll be getting Vera a pack of chapstick and wrapping them up. She saw this box and she like brought me her chapstick just so I can give it a home. It was so cute. Now I have the bottom closed, and I used a scoring tool to stick inside of the tube just to push that adhesive really well into the paper to make sure everything is bonded and the bottom's not going to pop open on me. And now, you know, all I have to do is just kind of fluff everything up and make sure that that center will go in, because I'm going to be tying ribbon around that center to keep the chapstick in its container. So you can see it fits chapstick just fine, and this isn't like the brand chapstick. I think this is EOS, or here's the packaging. And I thought the tubes were kind of boring because there's nothing on them, so I decided to switch the lids out just so there'd be a little bit of contrast to the tubes. Like that way better. So that is how I'm going to present the these specific chapsticks in a box. So I'm just going to quickly tie it on screen here just so you can see how it closes, but I did end up using red and white striped baker's twine to close the boxes, just to keep them very clean and simple. I did not worry about a tag or any sort of embellishments. These maybe later when it's time to gift them, I will add a tag, but for right now, since I really didn't know what I was going to do with them, I just left them like this. And I think they're cute enough as is to gift right away. But I mean, what do you think? Tell me what you think about these. This particular box actually really surprised me how easy it was to put together. So that's going to finish this video. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me, especially if you've been with me this whole time. I know this is a pretty long video, so thank you so much. I will have links to all of the products that I used in this video linked down below. They will be, most of them will be affiliate links. That's at no cost to you. I just do get a small commission if you shop my links, and then that really helps out my channel, and I really appreciate your support. With that said, I am going to say goodbye. Be sure to like this video and subscribe before you leave. And I'm going to be back shortly, hopefully, with another video. So I will see you then. Take care, friends.